Sir, your voice. Can you hear me? Your voice.
I can hear you. Can you hear me as well?
Good
Yes, sir.
morning.
Hello, Padma. Hello, Athar.
Hello, sir. Good
Hello,
morning.
Abhinav.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Today's text is a Galileo text.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Rafi. Good morning. Let's begin with the practice book. Everybody, open your practice book. We have a text. I hope you have read the text already. Hello, Faz. Good morning. Galileo Galilei. The father of modern science. Science that we know today, it started with Galileo. Two characters, two people are very, or we can say three people actually. Galileo, Darwin, Einstein. Newton as well. But
Good morning.
basically these three people, they have given you the understanding that you have today. If today's world is different from the world in 2000, 1100, 1200, 1300. Okay, back then in 1100, 1200, 1300, the world was in the darkness. It was a dark world in terms of knowledge. Good morning, guys. Good morning. People, you guys know that today in 2023, the world is very different from the world in just 1900, right? Just if you go 100 years back, 123 years back, the world was so different, right? Very different. Different in what sense? Yeah, human nature was always the same. Jealousy was the same. Anger was the same. Greed was the same. Greed. You want something bad, you want something the wrong way. That is greed. You want something that's not greed, but you want something bad, you want something the wrong way. That is greed. You like a woman, that's okay. But you want somebody else's wife, that is greed. Come on. If she likes you, then that's okay as well, maybe, to a certain extent. If she doesn't like you, she's married, she's happy, right, with her husband, and then you want her, that is greed. That is pure lust and greed. So human nature has not changed. Human nature has been very much the same, no matter what you tell me. Human nature hasn't changed even a bit. Sensibilities have changed. Sensibilities, what is that? What we consider right and what we consider wrong, that has changed. Do you know there was a time where people did not mind keeping black people slaves? Didn't mind that. They thought it was absolutely normal. They didn't feel bad about it. Today, it's very difficult to find people, who will be okay with keeping somebody your slave. You want a servant, but you don't want a slave. There is a difference, right? Some people try to equate the two things, slavery and having a servant. They say, oh, you are still a slave today. You are a slave of the corporate world and this and that. No, you're choosing that. You're choosing to work for a corporate. And those who are not in the corporate, they're dying to get in the corporate. There are a lot of students studying at university to get in the corporate world, right? So it cannot be equated with slavery. It is something that we choose. And if we choose something, that cannot be called slavery, right? If somebody forces us, then that is slavery, right? And the fact of the matter is, today sensibilities have changed so much in America. Maybe there are a handful of people who will say, we still want black people as our slaves. There are some people, some bad people, they have not changed yet, okay? In India, there are some people who say, oh, that person belongs to that caste. He deserves a place below me. There are some people like that, but most of us have become aware that human beings are by and large equal, and we should respect them. We should respect human beings for just one fact, that they are human beings. What they believe, what caste they are, what skin color they are, these things are secondary. The primary factor is that they are human beings. We should respect them. This opinion, this sensibility is new. It was not there 200, 300, 400 years ago. Why? You see, if I have been told all my life, that animals are below you, animals are below you, they're not as important as you are, then I'll believe that, right? If I've been told all my life. But if some people also tell me that animals are equal to you, they have the same feelings as you, then I will start to confuse this, because I'm getting two opinions. Then I will try to understand. So what we are studying today, science, the father of science, this man is largely responsible. He is mainly responsible for this idea that we know a lot of things today. Again, he didn't do it all, but he started. He showed us the path. That's why he is called the father of modern science. He didn't do it all, but he showed us the path. He said, don't believe what you are told. Inquire, investigate, and find out. Because the whole world in the 1400s, okay, in the 1500s, and before that as well, in the 1200s, in the 1300s, the whole world, including India and every other part of the world, believed that the earth was static. The earth was static. And why won't they? Because that's how it felt. Common sense, our sense said the earth is static. How could the earth move? If the earth would move, you would fall down. Common sense of people. Even today, if you tell a child, a 6-year-old child, 7-year-old child, that the earth is moving, pagal ho gaya. We can't feel it. If the earth is moving, हम लोग गिर नहीं जाएंगे. धरती अगर हिलती है, कुछ भी movement है इसमें, then how can we stand on it? Because it's common sense that we cannot stand on something that is moving. It's difficult to maintain your balance. So that's why the whole world, everywhere, including India, okay, people knew, not believe, they knew. They knew, bhai ho hi nahi sakta. The earth is static. Then this man came, and before him, another man came, Copernicus, and these two guys proposed an idea that the earth is not static. It has always happened in stages. Before he revealed to the world, he told the world that the earth is not static. Hundreds of years before that, people found out that the earth is not actually flat. Because before that, people believed that the earth was flat. And that was natural again. वो भी natural ही था. कैसा क्यों सोचेगा आदमी? If I show you clean water, okay, then you'll say, oh, it's clean, because your eyes cannot see anything in it. But if I show you that water with a microscope, you might be able to see the bacteria in it, because bacteria are invisible to your eyes. There are bacteria, but your eyes are not good enough to see them. So you say clean water. See? So same way, when people didn't have science, they didn't have equipment. And when they didn't have equipment, they didn't have the knowledge, because human senses, eyes, nose, ears, they cannot understand nature, the reality of nature. Tell me, can you tell with your eyes that the earth is in one place, not static, but in one place, and we are going around the earth? Can your eyes tell you? Can you feel that with your eyes, that we are going around the sun? Can we feel that? We cannot. Our senses have not evolved in a way to understand nature. Our senses have evolved in a way that we can survive. I'll give you a few examples. You find a bad smell in feces. Feces means जो शरीर से बाहर आता है खाने के बाद, latrine. Okay, so feces. Okay, so there is a bad smell in feces. Okay, why? Because clearly there is a lot of things there, means damaging things, bacteria and stuff, that if you consume, you are gonna be very sick, you're gonna die. Okay, now evolution is to not make you knowledgeable. Evolution is just for you to save yourself, exist in this world, survive in this world. So senses have not evolved to help us understand nature. No way. You cannot understand nature on your own. You always need equipment. Sound, for example. Okay, can you hear supersonic and what's that? Ultrasonic sound, yeah, ultrasonic, yeah, ultrasonic sound. Can you?
Ultrasonic
No, you
and
cannot hear.
infrasonic, sir.
Ultrasonic and infrasonic sound. Can you hear those things on your own? Never. Your ears are not equipped. Your ears have not evolved to hear them. You cannot. But there are sound waves which exist, but we cannot hear them. We can hear them only with the help of machines. So machines came into existence because of some people who showed us the path. A couple of names are very important, like man called, Galileo, man called Charles Darwin, and a man called Einstein. Yes, dear.
I want to say something, sir. As you said, I think this is partially correct, sir, because in 18th century or like that, we think some people know in India also that the earth is round.
I said the earth was static. Galileo broke that myth. The earth was not static. People thought that the earth was static.
The earth was moving is also observed, sir. in previous time.
Okay, I don't want to get in an argument with anybody here, because you have a right to your opinion.
I just put some facts only. I'm not
I want you to believe that. I want you to believe that. I want you to carry on with that belief, Abhinav, that India knew that the earth was not static. No problems. Carry on with that belief. No problems. Okay? Look, today there is a time of misinformation. इसको कहते हैं post rationalization. Okay. भाई, ऐसे टीचर्स भी मिले होंगे तुम्हें जिन्होंने कुछ गलत पढ़ा दिया, बाद में जब पता चला गलत पढ़ा दिया तो आकर को उसको ऐसे बताया, अरे यार ऐसे हम ऐसे बोले थे, उसका ये से होता था, ऐसे हम गलत थोड़ी थे। ऐसा करते हुए किसी को वैसे ही सुना, करते हुए देखा? इंसान की फितरत में है ये। तो एक चीज को बदल नहीं सकते हम लोग। ओके, that when that new information came to us, we were resistant. हम लोग मानना ही नहीं चाहते कोई भी नई जानकारी को। शुरुआत में ज्यादातर लोग, खासकर जो पहले से एक जानकारी को पक्का मान के बैठे हैं, They will never accept new information easily. उनको बहुत टेंशन लगता है खुले अच्छा आपका दिमाग अगर आपने खोल के रखा है कि हमको नया जानना है then you will accept new information is coming. But if you believe that you already have the information, for example, when I teach English, okay, then I have two types of students. A student who listens to me and says, oh, okay, really, okay, oh, new information, thank you, sir. I really didn't know that, sir. ऐसे एक बोलते हैं और एक ऐसा होता है स्टूडेंट जो मैं बताऊंगा इंग्लिश में कोई बात तो कहेगा नहीं ऐसे तो नहीं है हम तो ऐसे जानते वो रेजिस्ट करता है क्योंकि उसके पास ऑलरेडी इंफॉर्मेशन है अब वो इंफॉर्मेशन सही नहीं है तो वो सही इंफॉर्मेशन को रेजिस्ट करेगा क्योंकि कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आ रहा है उसके पहले की जानकारी में अभी की जानकारी में तो उसको रेजिस्ट करता है जो कहता है कि पहले यहाँ पर ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जो उस बात को पहले सही मान के बैठा अगर ऐसा माने कि पता नहीं वो शायद अभी इनके पास ज्यादा जानते हैं शायद इनकी बात सही होगी okay so they will accept it easily so similarly what happened that when you have this feeling okay I'm not going into any a b c thing okay all I'm saying is I will never say that in India people didn't have knowledge of enough okay people had plenty of knowledge in India but this knowledge that water is made of hydrogen and oxygen this knowledge never existed anywhere guys okay water was considered an element in itself element is something by its definition that cannot be broken into parts which are different from its nature बात समझना समझिएगा an element ठीक है element cannot be created an element cannot be destroyed ठीक है ऐसा मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं मैं थोड़ा सा फैक्चुअल होना चाहूंगा रुक जाओ it's not about elements about matter okay so देखो element you might have read about the you know what is that called which table periodic table so we have hydrogen oxygen and all these things there okay the fact of the matter is if you know these things and if these things really exist okay do you believe oxygen exists or you think it is a myth ऐसा कुछ है नहीं ऑक्सीजन जैसी कोई बात नहीं है do you believe oxygen exists do you believe hydrogen exists do you believe magnesium exists do you believe iron ferrous exists do you believe copper exists do you believe these are elements one is very different from the other some of them have similar qualities that's why they're in one periodic table right like this we have chlorine we have bromine we have mercury they are all in one table chlorine bromine and I perhaps I know about three things chlorine bromine and this mercury because I read okay because all of them are used in making thermometers okay so chloride bromide and mercury something okay anyways it's been a long time since I studied these things the point of the matter is main matter is that the earth is static or the earth was static that was the belief everywhere I'll tell you why there are videos available which try to post rationalize their their knowledge कि नहीं पुराने नॉलेज में भी ये सही बात थी जैसे मैं टीचर हूं मुझसे गलती हो जाएगी तो दो ऑप्शन है मेरे पास एक कहना क्या रे यार वो मैंने गलत बोल दिया था वो ठीक लेकिन मुझे अगर ये इमेज बनाना है कि मैं से मेरे से ज्यादा बेहतर कोई हो नहीं सकता और मैं कभी गलत नहीं हो सकता मैं इतना बढ़िया हूं तो मैं नहीं मान पाऊंगा ना उस बात को कि गलती है वहां पे मुझे अगर ये इमेज बना के रखना है तो अगर मैं सिंपल ह्यूमन बीइंग बनना चाहता तो मैंने बोल दिया हाँ हाँ गलती हो गया था मेरे से कोई ज्यादा नहीं फर्क पड़ेगा इस बात से मेरे बोल देने से इफ आई हैव दिस एटीट्यूड कि हाँ आई एम जस्ट अ ह्यूमन बट इफ आई वांट टू शो यू ऑल दैट आई एम द मोस्ट नॉलेजेबल पर्सन ऑन अर्थ अगर ये मुझे दिखाना है और वहां गलती मुंह से निकल गया मेरे तो अब वो प्रेशर है मेरा इमेज वाला ठीक है आई कैन नॉट एक्सेप्ट दिस मिस्टेक आई हैव टू पोस्ट रैशनलाइज माय मिस्टेक बाद में जान करके कि क्या गलती हुई थी उसमें कोई अच्छी सी बुद्धि बनानी है एक अच्छा सा कहानी बनाना है कि कैसे उसको जस्टिफाई कर सकूं मैं तो आई विल एनकरेज ऑल दोज पीपल हु वांट टू डिसएग्री विद मी एक तो पहली बात आई अलाउ यू टू डिसएग्री विद मी जहां पे जिसको लगता है कि मेरी बात से डिसएग्री करना है वो कर सकता है कोई दिक्कत नहीं है मैं तो उसे बहस में भी नहीं जाऊंगा कि नहीं नहीं मैं प्रूव करूंगा पहले मैं था आज से 6 महीने 4 महीने पहले तक मैं ऐसा था आई रियलाइज आई वाज आई वाज रियली हर्टिंग माई सेल्फ आई वाज harming myself really bad okay बिकॉज आई नो वो लोग जो ऐसा करते हैं उनका पर्सनैलिटी क्या होता है, मैं नहीं हूं, मेरे अंदर एक खाली कीड़ा है जानकारी शेयर करने वाला, लेकिन वो उसको कुछ लोग ऐसे देख लेते हैं जैसे नफरती इंसान। तो ठीक है, जैसे अगर मैं अभी अभिनव से बहस करने लग जाऊं कि अभिनव आप जो बोल रहे हैं वो गलत है, ठीक है, और मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ वो सही है, और मैं साबित करने चला जाऊं, कर दूंगा मैं, ठीक है, लेकिन इससे निष्कर्ष क्या निकलेगा अभिनव के दिमाग में कि सर ना इस रिस्पेक्ट नहीं करते। एक सबसे बड़ी चीज है, मैं फेसबुक पोस्ट देखा करे आप लोग, मैं किस तरह से बातें लिख रहा हूँ, ठीक है, और अगर अभी रोशिन के बाद अगर कोई और भी बात करने लग जाए इसी तरह से, मान लो रोशिन बात करने लग जाए, पद्मा करने लग जाए, जेबा करने लग जाए कि सर आप गलत हैं, मैं भाई हर आदमी ना इन सब बातों पर फटाक से धर्म को ले आता है कि धर्म की बात, क्योंकि ये सीधी सीधी लड़ाई है एक तरह से देखा जाए तो, मैं समझता हूँ, क्योंकि जब जब ये इस तरह की कुछ भी डिस्कवरीज होती हैं, कुछ भी जानकारी आती है, देन सर्टेन ग्रुप्स ऑफ पीपल गेट रियली अपसेट। क्यों? आज तक डार्विन के थ्योरी को एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया गया है रिलीजियस पीपल के द्वारा। ओके, दे डोंट एक्सेप्ट दैट वी हैव रिलेशनशिप विद ऑल अदर एनिमल्स, पीपल डोंट बिलीव दैट। इवन टुडे पीपल से नहीं हमको ऊपर वाले ने बनाया है, मैं नाम नहीं लेता, ऊपर वाले को अपना अपना नाम दे देना तुम लोग, बट रिलीजियस पीपल स्टिल बिलीव दैट हम लोगों को ऊपर वाले ने बनाया है, अलग से बनाया है। हालांकि वो कहानी कितनी मजेदार है, कितनी बचकानी है, उस बात को छोड़ दीजिए, लेकिन उनको उस पर यकीन रखता है, ठीक है, कि अगर डिटेल्स में जाए ना ऊपर वाले ने कैसे बनाया तो बहुत हंसी आएगी पढ़ करके, समझदार लोग जो जानते हैं, नॉलेज रखते हैं, उनको बड़ी हंसी आएगी, बट स्टिल दे बिलीव इन दैट, फाइन, आई रिस्पेक्ट दैट, ठीक है भैया कर लो बिलीव, तुम्हारी मर्जी, मैं तुम्हें बहस करके, क्योंकि मेरा इरादा किसी के साथ झगड़ा करने का तो है नहीं, मेरा इरादा किसी को नीचा दिखाना तो है नहीं, तो व्हाई वुड आई गेट इन एन आर्गुमेंट, तो मैं बहस क्यों करूं? मैंने पहले किया बहस, क्यों किया पता है? बिकॉज आई थॉट, जैसे मैं आपको इंग्लिश में कोई बात जिद करके समझाता हूँ ना कि आप मानते रहते गलत, फिर भी मैं सही बताने की कोशिश करता रहता हूँ, तो मैंने समझा ये भी वही है। फिर मुझे पता चला बाद में कि इंग्लिश आइडेंटिटी से रिलेटेड नहीं होता है, धर्म आइडेंटिटी से रिलेटेड हो जाता है, इंसान को उसको उसकी आइडेंटिटी छिलती हुई लगती है उसके धर्म को गलत बोल देने पर, ठीक है, तो दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड कि भाई दूर रहो इस बात से। I want to state in a very simple fact, I believe religion are man-made, okay, people have discovered facts, उन्होंने उसको उस तरह से बताया ताकि लोग माने, ऊपर वाले का नाम ले लेकर घुसाया हर जगह, हर एक रिलीजन की बात है, ऊपर वाले का नाम ले लेकर घुसाया, बाकी उसके अलावा जो फिलॉसफी की बातें हैं, इंसान की फितरत के बारे में, ये सारी बातें सही हैं 100%, सभी रिलीजन में, फिलॉसफी सारे रिलीजन में सही है। फिलॉसफी मतलब क्या है कि इंसान के साइकोलॉजी के बारे में हर एक रिलीजन बात की जाती है कि आदमी ऐसा करता है, आदमी वैसा करता है, ये ऑब्जर्वेशन है इंसान का। मैंने कहा दैट हैज नॉट चेंज्ड टिल टुडे, ग्रीड स्टिल एग्जिस्ट, व्हाट धृतराष्ट्र डिड इन महाभारत, ओके, इवन टुडेज फादर्स आर डूइंग द सेम, okay, what Yudhishthir did, put his wife on the, on the line when he was playing, he put her there, it is something that even today's people are doing. Here wife is just a I will say metaphor for something that it should not be put. जैसे हम लोग कुछ हासिल करने के लिए, sometimes we put something on the line which should not be put on the line. जैसे हम झूठ बोल देते हैं अपनी इज्जत बढ़वाने के लिए या पैसे कमाने के लिए, तो वो हमारा इमेज चला गया ना, तो आपकी पत्नी आपकी इज्जत है, वैसे ही आपकी इमेज, आपका वो भी आपकी इज्जत है, उसको दांव पे आप लगा देते हो। तो आई टेक ऑल स्टोरीज एज मेटाफोरिक स्टोरीज वेयर देयर आर ग्रेट लेसन्स, बट आई डोंट बिलीव दैट एनी Uparwala has ever contacted any human being, has ever contacted us ever since we exist on earth, and I see tremendous similarity between all mammals. Mammals, you guys know mammals? Mammals is a group of animals which give birth to babies, not eggs. So there is a tremendous similarity. Cows, pigs, monkeys, camels, elephants, humans, okay? For example, rats, okay? They have tremendous similarities. Dogs, they have tremendous similarities inside the body, the way their body works. When doctors or scientists, they come up with a new medicine, They first test it on rats. Why? Because rat's body is very similar to human body, okay? And that's why if a medicine is effective on rats, it is considered that it will be effective on humans as well. So we know why rats are so similar to us, because we have DNA and we see the similarities in the genes and all these things, you know. Though my point is very simple, that I believe what I see, the knowledge today. I cannot close my eyes to the reality. Okay. Otherwise, I totally respect if you guys don't agree with me, no problems. But I am zero interested in answering anybody's questions if they doubt what I'm saying. If they have any doubt about any of my statements, I don't want to have an argument here, discussion here, for the simple reason, because I know it is a slippery road. मैं एक सवाल का जवाब दूंगा, फिर वो एक दूसरा सवाल आएगा, फिर एक तीसरा सवाल आएगा, फिर मैं उसका जवाब दूंगा, फिर मैं जवाब देते देते थोड़ा सा मेरा मूड बदल जाएगा। मैं आपको एक मजाक वाली बात बोलूंगा, मेरा नेचर है, मैं आपका मजाक उड़ा दूंगा थोड़ा सा, मेरा नेचर है। कोई बेवकूफी वाली बातें कभी बोल जाता ना, तो मैं उसको हंस के मजाक करता हूँ। मेरे से इतने ऑनलाइन लोग चिढ़ते हैं, मैं बता नहीं सकता। Why? Because I make jokes about what they say. Because what they say is funny, is ridiculous to me. Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. What can I do? My mind works that way. And अगर आप लोग यकीन करते हो ऊपर वाले में, तो यकीन करना उसने मुझे बनाया ऐसा। उसी ने मेरी भाग्य में ये सब लिखा है कि मैं ऐसे बोलूं, मैं ऐसे करूं। ठीक है, उसकी मर्जी के बगैर पत्ता नहीं हिलता। तो ऑफ कोर्स व्हाट आई डू इज एब्सोल्युटली हिज विल। आप जितना डिसएग्री कर लो, आप मुझे जबरदस्ती उसमें फ्री विल लेके चले आओ, हमारे पास फ्री विल है, ये है वो है। आप कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन नहीं देखते। जब एक आदमी कहता है कि हम घर से बाहर चले गए थे, बाद में कहता है हम घर में झगड़ा होते हुए देखे थे, तो आपका दिमाग कहना चाहिए तुम एक बार बोले थे कि तुम बाहर चले गए थे, तुम बोल रहे हो घर में झगड़ा होते हुए देखे थे, कैसे हो सकता है दोनों एक साथ सही? तो कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन है ना यहाँ पे, दोनों एक साथ सही नहीं हो सकते। इधर तुम बाहर नहीं गए या तो तुमने झगड़ा नहीं देखा। आपका दिमाग ऐसे कहता है ना, लॉजिकली रैशनल बात करता है ना। एक आदमी कहे कि 7 से 8 के बीच हम बाहर में थे और 7:30 बजे घर में झगड़ा हुआ, बोला हम विटनेस थे, मेरी बाघ को मारा गया था, तो बोले पगला गया। दोनों काम एक साथ कैसे हो सकता है? वैसे ही एक तरफ आपके बारे में आपकी बातें लिखी जाएंगी कि किस्मत एक चीज है, उसमें कुछ लिखा गया है, और वो जो लिखा है किसने लिखा है? ऊपर वाले ने। तो क्या आप उससे ज्यादा पावरफुल हो? ऊपर वाले से ज्यादा पावरफुल हो? बदल दोगे उसको जो ऊपर वाला लिखा? नहीं ना। तो फिर आपका फ्री विल का चार्टो पकड़ करके अपने फ्री विल को, ऐसे ही कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन मुझे दिखता है, मैं इसको कुछ सॉल्व नहीं कर सकता। आई डोंट वांट टू गेट इनटू एन आर्गुमेंट। देखो बदला ना, मेरा टोन बदला ना, अब मैं थोड़ा सा अग्रेसिव हो रहा हूँ ना बात करते उसमें। अभी थोड़ी देर पहले मैं शांत होकर बात कर रहा था ना। मेरे साथ एक प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है, व्हेन आई थिंक ऑफ इलॉजिकल स्टेटमेंट्स और समझदार लोगों को बोलते हुए देखता हूं, मैं कहता हूं क्या रोकता है तुमको परेशान बेवकूफी को देखने से, सामने देखने से। दिस इज व्हाई आई स्टे काम टू भाई सबको जैसे रहे। लेकिन कोई आर्गुमेंट जरा सा शुरू करे ना, तो फिर मेरा अंदर जो ऐसा आता है ना, मैं बता नहीं सकता। उसके बाद गुब्बार कि एक तो तुम्हें समझ नहीं आती सामने से चीजें, उसके बाद तुम दूसरे को ही बोलते हो यार। किस्मत एक वर्ड है ना, किस्मत। किस्मत में जो लिखा है, ये कहां से आया? हमने बनाया इस फ्रेज। सारे लोग मानते हैं कि ऊपर वाले ने आपके किस्मत में कुछ लिखा है, ठीक है, उसको तुम बदल दोगे? औकात है तुम्हारे ऊपर वाले से ज्यादा? अगर नहीं बदल सकते तो फिर फ्री विल का क्या करना है तुमको? तुम कुछ करो, इधर से जाओ चाहे उधर से जाओ, वो जो लिखा है वही मिलेगा ना भाई। तुम लेफ्ट जाओ राइट जाओ, जो लिखा है वो तो होगा ना। तो फिर तुम्हारा फ्री विल का चार्टो पकड़ करके अपने केले की तरह उसको अच्छे से एकदम खाओ, ठीक है। So that kind of nonsense, it's just, I'm so rational now, I find it so objectionable कि रे कैसे कैसे। अभी मैंने कहा था 2 contradiction, हम बाहर गए हुए थे, हमने घर में मम्मी के साथ झगड़ा देखा। दोनों आप तुरंत बोलते हो ना, दोनों एक साथ नहीं हो सकता। तो एक तरफ है आपकी किस्मत में जो लिखा वो आपको मिलेगा, मानते हो? नहीं मानते किस्मत? बहुत अच्छी बात है। जो मानते हैं वो पूछे फिर वो किस चीज के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। तुम बदल दोगे किस्मत में लिखा हुआ? उसने लिखा है कि करोगे तो देंगे, उसने कंडीशन डाला है वहां पे। कंडीशन डाला है तो बता दो कि उसने कंडीशन डाला, कहीं पर पढ़ा है तुमने कि कंडीशन भी डाला है? उसने कहा लिख दिए हैं तुम्हारे पास, तुम्हारे साथ ये होगा, किस्मत में लिख दिए तुम्हारे पैदा होने से पहले। राइट? तो फिर कर लो भाई, कर लो झगड़ा उससे कि तुमने लिख दिया ये, हम नहीं। तभी किसी को लिखना पड़ा, खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है, क्योंकि पूछा तो नहीं है ना उसने, इसीलिए ये लिखना पड़ा, ठीक है, मोटिवेट करने के लिए। लेकिन एक्सेप्ट तो करें। अगर लिख दिया है पहले से तो फिर तुम कुछ भी कर लो भाई, उससे झगड़ा कर लोगे ऊपर वाले से, तुम कहोगे बदल दो, वो बदलने के लिए तैयार है। अगर कहीं से कुछ बता सकते कि हाँ वो बदल देगा, बदलने के लिए लिखा है, नथिंग। एनीवेज, कम बैक टू गैलीलियो। मैं बहुत अग्रेसिव टॉकर हूं इस टॉपिक पे गाइस, ठीक है। कभी मैं इस बारे में क्लास में बात इसलिए नहीं करना चाहता, मैंने कितने अपने स्टूडेंट्स खोए हैं, कितने दुश्मन बनाए हैं अपनी राय से, अपनी ओपिनियन से। आई कांट टेल यू, आई हेट माई सेल्फ। वाई? फॉर जो किस्मत में लिखा है, और अगर किस्मत में लिखा है मर जाएगा तो काहे के लिए डॉक्टर कहा जाना, ठीक है, पैसा बर्बाद। सो किस्मत पे यकीन करने वाले भगवान पे यकीन करते, ऊपर वाले पे यकीन करते हैं, ऊपर वाले पे यकीन करते हैं, किस्मत पे यकीन नहीं करते। तो आप सिर्फ मजबूर हैं अपने मम्मी पापा के प्यार से। एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है दोस्तों, याद रखना, आप में से कई अपने धर्म को नहीं मानते, आप में से कई अपने मम्मी पापा के प्यार को मानते, वही आपका धर्म है। यकीन मानिएगा, यकीन मानिएगा, मैं आपको सच बोलता हूं कि आप में से कई ना कोई धर्म वर्म नहीं जानते हैं। आप सिर्फ एक चीज जानते हैं, अपने मम्मी पापा के प्यार को, और इसलिए मैं आपसे झगड़ा नहीं करना चाहता, ठीक है। आप प्यार को मानिए, बहुत अच्छी चीज है। योर मम्मी पापा लव यू, राइट? जो आप छोटे थे कितना प्यार करके कैसे पाले पोसे, आप सब जानते हैं, राइट? आपने कितने मोमेंट्स देखे होंगे मम्मी पापा के साथ। उन्होंने जो बोला आपने उनको माना, आप आज भी वही मान रहे हैं, दैट्स ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम। जैसे अभी ये बोल रहे हैं कि डॉक्टर के पास आप क्यों जाते हैं जब आप बीमार पड़ते हैं, दो बातें होंगी, या तो आपको ठीक होना किस्मत में लिखा है, या तो आपका मरना लिखा है। लिखा तो है ना, तो ठीक होना लिखा है, तो व्हाई आर यू वेस्टिंग योर मनी गोइंग टू द डॉक्टर? एंड इफ ही हैज रिटन कि तुम मरोगे, तो व्हाई आर यू गोइंग टू द डॉक्टर? मरना तो तुम्हें है ही, पैसा क्यों बर्बाद कर रहे हो? तो ये बहुत अच्छी चीज है, ये कॉमन सेंस चलाना इस तरह से। और जब आपको ये प्रूव हो जाता है कि जो आप करोगे इससे कुछ डिसाइड होगा, कर्म पहले से किस्मत नहीं लिखी है, प्री डिटर्मिन वर्ड नहीं है ये, पहले मान लो, ठीक है। किस्मत में कोई चीज नहीं होती, किस्मत कभी नहीं होती है। अगर अभी आप कूद जाओ यहां से तो ज्यादा चांस है कि आपके हाथ पैर टूट जाएंगे, राइट? और अगर आप ना कूदे तो चांस है कि आपके हाथ पैर ना टूटे। क्या होता है ना, हम इंसानों की फितरत है पैटर्न देखना, इस वजह से हम लोग ऐसी चीजें करते हैं। कुछ हो जाता है ना तो बाद में कहते हैं ऐसा होना लिखा था, ऐसा होना था। कोई आउट हो जाता है ना बैट्समैन, तो दूसरा आके छक्का मारता है। जैसे अभी क्या हुआ, पांड्या चला गया बेचारा, पैर में चोट लग गया, तो हम लोगों ने कहा बढ़िया हुआ, क्योंकि उसके बाद जो हुआ वो तो सब जानते हैं कि उसके वजह से शमी को लिया टीम में, और उसके बाद जो आया तो क्या किया, उस जब तक था तो शार्दुल ठाकुर को खिलाया जा रहा था लोग, राइट? तो प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था, वो शार्दुल ठाकुर तो वो चीज नहीं कर पा रहा था जो शमी किया। तो लोग उसको पोस्ट रैशनलाइज, इसको बार बार मैं कहता हूँ पोस्ट रैशनलाइजेशन, ठीक है। बाद में कहते हैं ठीक हुआ, देखो प्लान था ऐसा। तो ऐसी लाइफ में कुछ चीजें इमोशनल लेवल पे होती है ना, तो हम लोग उसमें घुसा देते हैं ऊपर वाला। ये ऐसे क्रिकेट फील्ड में हुआ, ठीक है। अब वो ऊपर वाले ने लिखा होगा कि भाई हार्दिक पांड्या तो चोट लग जाएगी, तुझे तो चोट लग जाए, ठीक है ना, तो फिर हम लोग शमी को लाएंगे। ये सब ऊपर वाला लिखा है, बड़ा भयानक लिखने वाला भाई, मानना पड़ेगा। तो देखो अभी फिर मेरा मजाक वाला पे आया, ठीक है। नो, तो ये दोनों ही चीजें, मेरा वो वाला टोन, अग्रेसिव टोन, वो तो लोगों को एकदम बेइज्जत करता है, और ये वाला, ये तो कुछ लोग को इतना जलाता है, मेरा मजाक। वैसे मैंने भी कहा क्या लिखता होगा यार, हर चीज लिख देता है यार, भयानक लिखता है। तो मैं आपको कहूंगा थोड़ा सा मुझे माफ कर देना कि मैं टॉपिक को निकाल गया, बाकी आप लोग वापस आ जाते, ठीक है। Okay, Padma. I'm sorry, Padma. I'm really sorry, Padma. Yeah, I got a little carried away. Yeah, you want me to speak only English. I know. It's good to have Padma in the class, you know. She will stop me from speaking Hindi. You guys would love me to speak Hindi, right? You say, yes, sir, Hindi, sir. But Padma will say, sir, only English. Padma, I just told you that I see clear contradiction in, I don't have to go through the, religious texts and all, although I have done it. I've done it. I have done it enough to know nonsense, okay? But just simple ideas. अब इस पे क्या होगा, आप कैसे करोगे? तो इफ जैसे कई बार क्या होता है कि मैं सही चीज आपको पढ़ाया, ठीक है, लेकिन आपके कोई अंकल है, आपके कोई भैया है, ए सॉरी पद्मा, I taught you the right thing, but then you have an uncle, you have a bhaiya, okay, your brother, elder brother, cousin, and they will, because they have this ego that they know more, okay, so they'll say, no, your teacher is wrong, because they don't know that thing. So they'll convince you somehow, and you will come to me, sir, my uncle said this is not right, sir. Means you doubted the correct thing. Why? Because you are emotionally connected to that man, that person who is giving you information. Somewhere you also believe that he knows a bit. He knows a bit. That's why you valued him. Somebody else says something to you, you do not have respect for that person's knowledge, you will ignore it. Most important thing is the reputation. If you have reputation in your mind, reputation for somebody that person knows. Look, all the religious people, especially those tikadars, contractors, mullah, maulvis, pandits, okay, all of them, how smart they are. They will always say, but they will always ask for this. Arey bhai, if this is important for you from the devotees, then everything is over. Why don't you depend on him alone? But no, if they perform puja, they will want this. If they do dua for you, they will want this. Okay? So everywhere, this is important. And if you remove this thing, suddenly everything falls flat. It's all the game of money. Game of Thrones, game of money. So you seem to be very rational man. Do you express your opinion in front of your elders? They will be angry with you if you said things like this. My old guardians, whoever, my guardians, elder people, my mom, my uncles, my aunties, older people, if I open my mouth in front of them, I often get gagged. I get, I'm asked to shut up. They say, don't speak to us. Keep your logic for your students. They refuse, simply, dismiss me. My relatives, when I try to convince them with these things, they say, don't try this with us. You may be a teacher, but not for us. Okay? You may be a teacher. You are a teacher for your students. Go give your knowledge to your students. Don't bother us. They don't even listen to me. They don't listen and try and think what I'm saying. They simply dismiss me. And I respect that because they're old. When I meet old people online, and when they have discussions with me, and if I find out that they're in their 60s, they're in their 70s, then I kind of start to surrender. I start to surrender because I know something from my own knowledge that if you have believed something for 60 years in your life, and that is part of your identity, you will not throw it away. It's like committing suicide in a way, theoretically, Suppose I am very invested in my identity, religious identity, caste identity, whatever, very invested in it. I make a lot of posts about these things and I proudly talk about my identity. And somebody says, bhai, your identity is based on false premises. Then I will be angry with that person. I'll say, pagal ho gaya, hum jhoote hain. Matlab mera koi hai nahi value, jitna aaj tak itna I have felt so special because of this. It's all a lie. I don't believe you. So that's why when you say these things, what I'm saying, to somebody who is very invested means you understand. If I tell you today that XYZ company's shares are going to go down, that company is going to go bankrupt, or that company has become bankrupt. If you have not bought any shares of that stock, you will say, oh yeah, okay, no problems to you, no problems. Now imagine I say XYZ company's stocks have fallen, have gone down, and you have bought lots of shares. You will say, no way. You will dismiss my information. You will go and check again maybe. Am I right? Am I right? You would not like to believe my information because you have bought so many shares. You will be concerned, but you will not believe me. Am I right? First, you will go and check. Because it can be verified, you will become sure whether I was right or wrong. Similarly, when somebody has bought a lot of shares of their religion, so how do you buy shares of your religion? by bringing religion in your life, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you talk. You know, if you have brought a lot of religion in all these things, and if I tell you that, you know, religion is all a lie, so what do you mean? You will react. And if religion doesn't play any role in your life, it means you have zero investment. You have not invested anything. And if I tell you religions are lie, you'll say, oh, maybe. The same way. So it's all about how heavily invested you are. Have you invested yourself very much in your religion? If you have, then you are not going to agree with me at all. I know that. It's going to be very difficult for you because you'll have to recover, you have to rediscover your identity. You have to find a new identity for yourself. Because right now you have an identity because of what you believe. And you'll have to give up that identity. Not easy. But we have to say, we don't believe black people are our slaves. We don't believe certain castes belong to lower level of society. They're all equal. Today we believe that. Most of us do, okay? We don't want to say he was born in this family, so he will be he will be a dumb person, or he cannot do this, cannot do that. A child born in any family can become a doctor, can become an engineer, or can become a robber, can become a rapist. Nobody will give guarantee that if you were born in this family or in this group, you cannot become this, right? So it means we have accepted it today, that we are all equal, and our surroundings, our upbringing will shape our future, not our identity. Identity is just a social construct that you have been given a name, you have been given a caste, you have been given a religion, you have been given a nationality. You are an Indian, okay, right? The problem is our lifespan is so small, we live for only 70, 80, 90 years, that we cannot see thousands of years. Why are we so different? Looks, okay, why are our looks so different? Why is Japan, the weather in Japan is different from the weather in India? Go and live in Japan, suddenly you'll feel different. What is this migration theory of leaving Africa, you know, and living in different parts of the world? All these things. So you don't have to be very knowledgeable. You have to be just have a little bit of rational mind to ask the question that this boy asked. If you have something called destiny, if you believe in something that God decides for you, and I mean God, not Christian God, God for all religions, God decides for you, then you shouldn't worry about anything. Just relax. I know if I say this to my mom, she will say, "Arey beta, tum baat nahi samajhte, you don't understand. God says we have decided, but God also encourages you to do your job, do your duties." Why? God will say two things and I will believe them both. Why? So he said, don't you understand? I have bought a chocolate for you and I'm saying, I will give this chocolate to you if you do this. But you haven't decided my destiny. You say, this analogy doesn't work. Again, if I go down this right, trying to prove and disprove, then it will become a long lesson. So I want to come back to Galileo text now. My simple submission was, yep, Simran. Okay, my simple submission was that my mind doesn't accept these things at all. I see lots of big holes, loopholes in these stories, which I can notice. Galileo Galilei, the father of modern science. Galileo Galilei was an Italian physicist, mathematician, astronomer, and a philosopher. Guys, he was not one thing. He was a mathematician. And where was he born? In Italy, because he was an Italian physicist. It means he was born in Italy. And he was a mathematician. He was an astronomer. Astronomer means someone who has special knowledge of stars, planets, satellites, things in the sky. They are called astronomers. And that subject is called astronomy. That subject is called astronomy. And the person is called astronomer. And philosopher. What is a philosopher, guys? A philosopher tries to understand the meaning of life. When People try to understand life. No, not how we came into being. No, life, what's the point? Why do we live? What should we do? So there are different philosophies, there are different philosophers. Okay, Buddhist philosophy, what does it say? It says, the reason why you are unhappy is your desires. You give up all your desires and you will be happy. As long as you have desires, you will be unhappy. That's a philosophy. But this is a religious philosophy. There are a lot of secular philosophies which are not related to any religion. Okay. Do you know the names of any philosophers? Have you ever read any philosophers, guys? I bet you haven't. Because culture nahi hai. We don't have that kind of culture
Yes,
to
sir.
read. So tell me, who have you read, Abhinav?
There are lots of, sir, but I read
Give me a couple of
about
names. Give me a couple of names.
about philosophers, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. A philosopher from West called
Any.
Socrates.
Okay. What did they say? Do you like their philosophy? Do you agree with their philosophy?
Yes, sir. I read philosophy of theirs, sir.
Okay. There was a German philosopher, Nietzsche. Read his philosophy. A lot of things I say, I have not read him, but people say a lot of things that I say resemble the things he said in his philosophy. I think philosophy comes from your experiences, the way you see the world. Okay. You guys can be two brothers, but you can see the world in a very different way. If a man has always experienced problems with women, in their philosophy, women will not have a very positive image. And a man who has always been lucky with women, he hasn't faced many problems because of women. In his philosophy, in his personal philosophy, in his worldview, women will have a very positive image. So your experiences shape your worldview, the way you think about the world, your philosophy. I do the observation of the world. I have got a good quality that I understand how you feel in a situation. I can easily put myself in your situation and try and understand how you would be feeling. Okay. Sometimes like I had a difficulty understanding religious minds. Okay. Because I've always seen people in my family. I've always made fun of my mom, her beliefs and all that, or some other people in my family too. And I get away with it. Means I don't get punished. I don't get shouted at. They dismiss me, but they don't really get angry at me a lot. Sometimes they never say, get out of my house. Never. Okay. They say this, they put it on Bhagwan as well. They say, Bhagwan iska buddhi maar diya hai. Okay. So they put it on Bhagwan. So main kehta badhiya hai. Usi par dalo. मेरे को मत बोलो. So I have always gotten away with these things. ऐसे बोल करके मैं हमेशा, मेरे को कोई कीमत नहीं चुकानी पड़ी. Recently I had to suffer a little bit when I started talking about these things in the class. And जाहिर सी बात है, क्लास में हर एक कोई अपने रिलीजन को डिफेंड करने लग जाता है. तो वहां पे, और मैं तो हूँ, जैसा मैंने आपको थोड़ी देर पहले एक झलक दिखाया था कि मैं बहुत अग्रेसिव हो जाऊंगा बात करते समय. आपसे गुस्सा नहीं हूँ, लेकिन मेरे बात करने का टोन, my tone will be such that I'm really angry with you, but I'm angry with the idea. Okay, not with you at all, but the way I sound, people think, baap re baap, itna nafrat mere bare mein. And they went outside and started saying, Vinay sir to aise, Vinay sir to aise. I said, yaar, ye to galat ho gaya yaar. This I never intended to do. ये तो मेरे दिमाग में नहीं था कि उसको कुछ बोलना है. I can say something to you. I can only say one thing to you guys. और वो शायद ये होगा, when you say two things which are contradict each other, मेरा दिमाग नहीं चलता रहे. That's all I will say to you. Okay, nothing else. Like there are lots of people who have a lot of bitterness about somebody, just because they are the other side. I can't have bitterness. I told you, I can understand other people's feeling so easily. I'm very empathetic. I'm very empathetic. Empathetic means I have a lot of empathy. Empathy means the ability to feel other people's emotions. That is called empathy. Okay. So I'm very empathetic, and that helps me, you know. I stopped because, again, I didn't stop just because my class suffered because of that. No, I stopped because I don't want to make people feel that I hate them. How can I hate a human being who is as normal as me? It's just that, भैया मैं इंग्लिश बोलता तुम नहीं बोलते, मैं तुम्हें नफरत करता हूँ, तुम्हें मौका नहीं मिला. So I had the opportunities to open my mind. You didn't get those opportunities somehow. We went to the same school. I learned English. You didn't. Okay. But I don't hate you. I'm trying to help you learn English. So my intention was to help people see my point of view. Okay. But it became a full-on clash. A couple of students told me, I will not study with him. He is just like that. He disrespects me and my religion and this and that. I said, all right, well, I cannot do anything. I can only say that my intention is never to hurt anybody. But I like talking about what I feel, what I see. If nobody wants to hear me, no problems. So I usually now don't bring such topics in the class, because I know there will be some touchy people. Touchy people are like those who get hurt very easily. Touchy. Okay, you get hurt very easily. I said one. So you're very touchy. Okay, if you're like that. So some touchy people are always there. So it's better not to, because it's a place where people come to study. I realize it. So भाई छोड़ दे इस टॉपिक को. तो मैंने, लेकिन ये गैलीलियो ना, इसको हटा दूंगा, कोर्स से हटा दूंगा. You know, whenever I teach Galileo ना, उस दिन निकल ही जाता है. That day I have somehow start talking about these things. Astronomer, philosopher. Are you a philosopher? Everybody is a philosopher. Everybody who has something to say about life is a philosopher in his own right. You know, like you are a philosopher, you are a philosopher. Everybody is a philosopher. Okay, if I ask you, what do you think of women? What do you think of women? What do you think of money? What do you think of success? Then you will give a definition. You'll give some opinion of yours. And that's philosophy. Okay. So not exactly full-blown philosophy, but it's your personal philosophy. Okay. He was a brilliant scientist. A man who did not get his due. A man who did not get his due. एक ऐसा इंसान जिसको वो नहीं मिला जो वो डिजर्व करता था. मैंने कैसे बोला ये बात? A man who did not get his due. A man who did not get his due. Galileo. I feel very sorry for this guy. Whenever I read, of course he was in Italy. I have no connection. But when I read his story, I feel so sad inside for Galileo. And somehow I feel that if I were in that time, maybe, you know, I'm not claiming that I would be as intelligent as him, but I would be very sorry, you know, for him. I would always feel sorry for him. I relate to him somehow, you know, Galileo. I feel like he was my family. I feel like he was my family. Yeah, I feel that way. I have zero connection with him. Okay, but still, I feel like he was part of my family. His early years, guys. Galileo was born in 1564 in Pisa, Italy. Galileo was born in 1564 in Pisa, Italy. Pisa is a place in Italy, of course. He was the first of 6 children of Vincenzo Galilei and Giulia Amanati. He was the first of 6 children. How many brothers and sisters did he have, guys?
5.
He had 5 brothers. He had 5 brothers and sisters. He had 5 siblings. He had 5 siblings. Siblings means brothers and sisters. Yeah, he had 5 brothers and sisters. And they were all younger than him, or some of them were older than him?
They are younger than him.
They were all younger than him, or some of them were older than him?
They were all younger.
They were all younger than him because he was the first. He was so they were all younger than him, right? Okay. So when we read now, he was the first of 6 children, then we should understand, oh, he didn't have any elder brothers, sisters. He didn't have any elder brothers and sisters. Yeah. He was the first of 6 children of Vincenzo Galilei and Giulia Ammannati. We know the names of his parents as well. The father was called Vincenzo Galilei and the mother was called Giulia Ammannati. His father was a famous musician of his time. Okay. He was a musician, quite famous he was. Galileo's early education was in a monastery. Galileo's early education was in a monastery. Yes. A monastery is a building where you study religion. Okay. In Hindi, we have a word mat. What is a mat? Mat is a building. Mat is a premise. Okay. A building. Okay. A structure, a house type place, a mat where you study religion. Bodh mat, Jain mat, like that. Okay. So similarly, monastery is also a place where people study about their religion. Galileo's early education was in a monastery. It was typical those days. Even today, a lot of people in their early childhood have their religious education first. Parents first send them to study religion, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, and then secular education. Nowadays, okay, what do you think? The number of those parents is increasing or decreasing? Those who send their children for religious education?
Decreasing,
the number of
sir.
those parents who send their children for religious education, the number of those parents is increasing or decreasing?
The number of those people is decreasing.
The number of those people is decreasing. Those who send their children for religious education in the early childhood. Earlier, it was a normal thing. Everybody had to do this. Everybody had to do this. In, let's say, Africa, countries like Ghana, it is still very much the truth. Even if you go to a school where you study science and all, they will first teach you Christianity. They will first teach you Christianity. Christianity is a subject in every class. Like you guys, here have Sanskrit, Hindi, Urdu language. They have a subject, Christianity, in every class. Okay, so his early education was in a monastery. How interesting, isn't it? That those people are, their number is decreasing. Now people don't think it is important to send their children for religious education. How interesting it is. It is a sign. It is a sign, simple sign. Everybody is realizing it. Some people are not very confident to accept it. Some accept it. They say, that knowledge is not going to give you anything in the world, religious knowledge. You have to be a doctor, engineer, a clerk, you have to study what you need to study to live today's life. And you know what? Let the AI take over. Just wait for 20, 30, 40 more years. You guys will be alive and you will remember what I have said here, okay? Wait for 30 more years. AI will take over and then you will see how religion works. AI, like internet has damaged religion. Damaged in what way? Look, you live in a small village. There is a building. Everybody says, oh, it's ghosted, it's haunted. There is a ghost in the building. The whole village believes in that. That building is like that. Somebody from the outside comes and he buys the building. He lives there. Slowly and slowly, 100 years pass, 200 years pass. Nobody calls it a haunted building now. Right? Nobody calls it a haunted building now. Because somebody from outside came, bought the house, started living in it, and everything is fine. For 200 years, 100 years, nobody even remembers that it was called a haunted building. So the same thing happened. People believed this world was new information. Internet did that. It brought new information to you. Everything that you want to know about, go. Otherwise, religious stories, they are so much fun. Whenever I want to read jokes, sometimes I read religious stories. Okay. I laugh a lot when I read them. There are so many funny stories. And the best part is that there are some stories which are so the same. My father told me a story of Raja Mordhwaj when I was a child. Raja Mordhwaj was such a big devotee of which god, I don't remember, but he was such a big devotee. And one day God decided to test him. Bhagwan decided to Test him, his devotion, how devoted he is. So, the story goes like he was going to kill his son for God. Okay, now this story exists in every religion. My father told me Raja Mordhwaj. अगर आप लोगों को किसी को ये कि मुझे नाम याद है इसलिए मैंने बोल दिया, आप सर्च कर लेना गूगल पे Raja Mordhwaj. Okay, a Hindu religion story. You will find the same story that you have in Islam, you have in Christianity, you have in other religions. Everywhere the same. ये एक आदमी है जिसको अपने बच्चे को कुर्बानी देने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है भगवान के लिए, ऊपर वाले के लिए, उससे ऊपर वाला खुश हो गया. When I was a kid, now I love that story. My father told me story and I listened to it from his point of view. Okay, but when I grew up and I became a father myself, and I thought, no, I'm sorry, I won't do it. हालांकि आर्गुमेंट में मैं नहीं जीतना चाहता, मैं आपसे आर्गुमेंट करके जीतना नहीं चाहता. बात समझ में आ रही है आपको? मैं किसी से आर्गुमेंट करके, अभी जिसको मैं जानता हूं पर्सनली, आई डोंट वांट टू डिफीट देम इन एन आर्गुमेंट. आई जस्ट लीव देम फॉर देम टू डिस्कवर द ट्रूथ. खुद ढूंढिए सच, ढूंढते जाइए, सीखते जाइए दुनिया को. बिल्डिंग को हॉन्टेड मान के लोग बैठे हैं. प्लीज फाइंड आउट, इज दिस हॉन्टेड और नॉट, लाइक दैट. इट्स अ गुड एनालॉजी. His early education was in a monastery, so he was a Christian, guys. He was a Christian. He was a Christian, and he believed in Christianity. He believed in Jesus Christ. It's not that he did not. He, even after he discovered all these things, he still believed in Jesus Christ. Okay? Yeah. Galileo was born in 1564 Galileo's early education was in a monastery. From there, in 1581, he went to the University of Pisa. He went to the University of Pisa. Okay. He went to the University of Pisa as a student in 1581, where he was a student of medicine and mathematics. He studied two subjects, mathematics and medicine. Medicine means biology. Okay. Back then it was possible. Back then you could study both maths and biology at the same time. Today it's difficult. You have to choose either maths or biology. You can only study maths and biology together in +2. But after that, when you do graduation, you have to study either maths or biology. If you do master's degree, you have to choose either botany or zoology. Even biology will break down into different parts. The reason is we have so much knowledge today that you cannot study two different things. There is a class of 50 students. One teacher is enough. But if you put 200 students, then maybe you need to bring more teachers as well. So there was a little bit knowledge available. So one person could study all the things earlier, but now knowledge has increased so much that you can't study all the things. So he was a student of medicine and mathematics. Then from 1592 to 1610, he went to the University of Padua. From 1592 to 1610, he went to the University of Padua. Okay, 11 years later, in 1581, he went to the University of Pisa. And in 1592, he went to the University of Padua until 1610. Okay, but this time he was not a student. He wasn't a student at this university. He was a professor. So first 11 years, 1581, he was there at University of Pisa as a student. Later, in 1592, he joined the University of Padua as a professor of mathematics and astronomy. Galileo was the father of 3 children. Listen to this line, very interesting. Galileo was the father of 3 children, 2 daughters and a son, but he wasn't married to their mother. First live-in relationship, Galileo's relationship. Today it is very happening thing now, live-in relationship. You live with a woman without getting married. You have children, but you don't get married. Galileo did that too. In the 16th century. Okay, he had 3 children, but he wasn't married to their mother. What do you think? Is it really allowed in religion to be married, to have children with a woman without getting married? Is it okay? Is it okay? Is it okay, according to religion, to be with a woman, to have children with a woman without getting married? Is it allowed? It is not allowed. Okay. Why? Why? Why do you have to be married? Why does ऊपर वाला want us to be married? ऊपर वाला क्यों चाहता है कि हम लोग शादी करके फिर बच्चे पैदा करें? ऐसे क्यों नहीं करें? पूछा है अपने आप से? मैं ऐसे मत पूछो, अपने आप से पूछा है कि नहीं कि ऊपर वाला ऐसा क्यों चाहता है? पहले सुना तो है, करा तो है. You have always followed, okay, what your parents told you, but have you ever wondered, अरे ऐसा क्यों? Why? Padma, why does ऊपर वाला want us to get married and then have children? Why can't we have children without getting married? Have you ever wondered? Have you ever wondered? एक बात बताता हूँ, जवाब मायने नहीं रखते. Answers don't matter. The questions matter. Whether you have the answer, I don't care. Have you had the question in your mind? आपके जहन में सवाल आया था तो उठा देना हाथ, नहीं आया था तो no problems. मैं जानना चाहता हूँ आप कितने अंदर ही अंदर इसमें क्या चलता है, okay? Did you ever have this question in your mind? Why
Yes,
does
sir.
God want us to be married and then have children? Who is saying yes? Abhinav?
Faizan.
Faizan had this thought. Okay, anybody else had this thought ever? कभी ख्याल आया था ये? Why does God want us to be married and then have children? Why can't we have children without getting married? What's wrong with that? Have you ever thought about it? You did. Anybody else? Ganpat?
Yeah, I read about
Yes, sir.
this, sir.
Yes, Abhinav, you never thought about it.
Yes, sir, I read that.
You had this question.
and-
You had this question in your mind.
Yes,
Guys,
sir,
did you ever
and
have
that
this
was-
question in your mind? Why does God want us to be married? I'm not saying, do you have the answer? I'm not saying, do you have the answer? I'm saying, did you have this question? Did you have this question? Never.
It's about society, sir, not about
Arey
God.
bhai, I'm not concerned with I'm not interested in the answer. Why are you giving me the answer? Did I ask you for the answer? Simran, you are also answering the question. Did I ask you the answer? Did I ask you the answer? For last 5 minutes, I've been saying, did you have this question? I said, sometimes it's not about the answer. It's about the question. Whether you have the answer or not doesn't matter. Whether you had the question or not, that matters to me and to a lot of people. Is it strange to think about it?
No.
बहुत अजीब बात है क्या सोचना ऐसा कि क्यों चाहता होगा ऊपर वाला कि हम शादी करें पहले? Is it strange to think about it? That's my question is. अजीब बात है सोचना ऐसा या natural ये
sir.
सवाल मन में आना क्यों भाई? क्यों,
It is
क्यों,
natural.
क्यों? Why? It's natural to think like this. तो यही है, हम में से कुछ लोगों की सोच को ना ऐसा दायरा सीमित किया गया है. We can't even have a question in our minds. Natural questions don't come to your mind. चलो, good luck. आगे आएंगे मेरे बाद मेरी याद आएगी, हैं? It means when you are not with me, अभी मैंने कीड़ा डाला है तुम्हारे दिमाग में, तुम कुछ सवाल सोचोगे, okay? अच्छा बताओ मैं बुरा कर रहा हूँ या सही कर रहा हूँ तुम्हारे दिमाग में सोचने की आदत डालवाने के लिए? If I ask you to think, is it a good thing or a bad thing? If I ask you to think, I'm not asking you to believe anything. I'm asking you to think. I'm not giving you an answer. I'm not saying मेरा आंसर ले ले भाई, मैं जो बोलता हूँ वो ना. Think. Why does God want us to be married? Okay, next.
Sir, but do you have any answer?
That's where the fight starts, Faizan. That's where the fight starts. For another day, Faizan. For another day, okay? Keep it for another day, Faizan. I would love to answer this question. I have an answer, my own answer, without reading anything. मैं बहुत कम पढ़ा लिखा हूँ, okay? But I have my answer and I will share with you guys. But not today. एक दिन में ज़्यादा डोज हो जाएगा बच्चे, ठीक है? Otherwise फिर जो पास्ट में हुआ फिर होने लगेगा. आप लोग ही जाके कहोगे माता खा गया सर हमारा. It's 9 o'clock. We finish at 9:30.
9:30, yes.
9:20. Okay. Okay. Ranjit is here. Ranjit, are you here? Ranjit asked for the link. We shared the link. Okay. Some religious. Okay. So guys, what happened? He was a mother. He had 3 children, but he wasn't married to their mom. Yeah. His scientific life. Now read about, this was about his personal life. Let's read about, Ranjit is here. Okay, Ranjit, you need to unmute yourself to speak, okay? Galileo made excellent telescopes, guys. He was a scientist, no? He made excellent telescopes. Can you make a telescope? No? We study that in class 8th or 9th when we study lens. Hello?
Concave.
Didn't you study in class 9th or 10th?
Concave and
We study that.
X.
How to make telescopes. It's an experiment. You have an experiment. You have to take a pipe type structure. You have to put two lenses at a certain distance, and then you can see far away. Things will appear bigger. We have to make these things. We can make telescopes in class 9, 10th. Children can make. But this guy he made telescopes and he was an expert, right? So back then, again, like I said, what appears very easy today was very difficult in the past because people didn't have much knowledge. Only they grew crops, they made chairs, okay, they made statues. They didn't have scientists and teachers back then, okay? So Galileo made excellent telescopes, very good quality telescopes. With those telescopes, he could see moons, not moons going around the planet Jupiter. Do you see moons going around the planet Jupiter, guys, with your naked eyes? Can you see moons going around the planet Jupiter? Jupiter in Hindi is Brihaspati. Okay, so do you see moons going around the planet Jupiter?
No, sir.
With your naked eyes, you can't. That's why people didn't know what he knew, because he had the machine, telescopes. And with the telescopes, he could see moons going around the planet Jupiter. Now, tell me, the problem is because we cannot see it with our naked eyes, you will never find this information anywhere, that planets have moons, and moons are natural satellites that go around a planet. You will never find this because we don't really get to see this. We thought that there are only two things in the sky, the sun and the moon, and the rest of the things, the stars. We didn't know the nature of stars. We didn't know the stars were suns. The stars that we see at night, they are not stars. They are basically a lot of suns, are they not? Either we can call the sun a star, or we can call all the stars suns as well. They are all suns, but they're at such a long distance from us that they don't look like suns. They look like just a small dot, okay, twinkling. But basically, they're all suns. But did we know that they were all suns? No, we thought they were stars, a new name, stars. उनके लिए अलग नाम रखा है, stars, because they look twinkling, and we think they look beautiful. That's all. They are not just there to make this world beautiful. Okay. Okay. I have read, stuff. Oh, stars have been put in the sky to make the sky beautiful. Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. So he saw moons going around planet Jupiter and the planet Venus going around the sun. Can you see that with your naked eyes? Venus, can you see the Venus? Planet Venus going around the sun. He saw it all with his eyes, with the telescope. Now tell me, won't it impact his thinking? If you see something, everybody is drinking water in your house, but you bring a telescope, not a telescope, a microscope, and you look at the water and you say, my God, lots of bacteria. Will you still drink that water? Will you still drink that water? You will say, no, stop. This looks clean, but it is not. And those people who don't know how to use a microscope, they will say, pagal ho gaya hai, sab saaf to hai, dekh nahi raha hai. So it's just that. It's simply that. Some people can see what others cannot see, so there is a clash. He could see the planet Venus going around the sun. At the time, means in those days, at the time, learn the nice phrase, at the time, in those days, there was the belief that the earth was the center of the universe. The earth was the center of the universe. This is called geocentric model of the universe. Geocentric model of the universe. Geo means the earth. Centric, in the center. In every religious book, God claims that I made the earth for you humans. हमने इस धरती को बनाया तुम लोगों के रहने के लिए, हमने इस दुनिया को बनाया तुम्हारे लिए. God claims, okay? In every book, God claims this. अगर आपको नहीं पता आप जाके पढ़ लेना. God claims हमने इस दुनिया को बनाया किसके लिए? आप लोगों के रहने के लिए, इंसानों के रहने के लिए, for humans to live. बाद में आप पूछेंगे और बाद में वो जो बिलियंस ऑफ गोला बना वो किसके लिए बनाया था? खेलने के लिए हम लोग के. कंचा. ओके. अरे लग लो. ओके. उतना बड़ा बड़ा गोला से हम लोग नहीं खेल सकते. ऊपर खेलते हैं, खाली समय बोर होता है तो इधर उधर फाड़ो तनाक. बचपन में आप अकेले गोली खेलते थे when you didn't have friends? हाँ, sometimes अकेले भी खेल लेते थे. तनाक तनाक, so बेचारा अकेला. Okay. So where were we? There was the belief that the earth was the center of the universe. And why won't they believe the earth was the center?
Sir,
Because the sun comes up in the morning.
At the
Yes,
time,
yes.
can we say, sir, at that time?
Exactly. At that time, कोई खास moment के लिए भी हो सकता है, ठीक है ना? So at the time means a period, okay?
At that time, okay.
जैसे I came home, at that time my wife was in the kitchen. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
I came home in the evening. At that time, my wife was in the kitchen. Means in that moment, right? At that time, my wife was in the kitchen. At the time means a period, reference to a past period, okay? At the time, un dino, in those days. Other words for at the time is in those days. There was the belief that the earth was the center of the universe. I don't know if you can find any illustrations back then, so 1400, 1500, 1600. They showed the earth in the middle, and the sun and the moon and the Venus is visible to your naked eye, by the way. Venus दिखता है आंखों से, ठीक है ना? So they could see all these things in the sky, और sky को ऐसे करके ऊपर से ढक देंगे, क्योंकि यही है हमारे किताबों से मिली हुई नॉलेज, पुराने किताबों से, धार्मिक किताबों से. The sky is a dome, the earth, okay, in the center, and everything is for us. Everything is for us. But when you know today the real nature of universe, we are just a small planet in a huge universe, right? And we are trying to find out if there is life somewhere else as well. And there is a chance that there is bacterial life on Mars. There is a chance. Bacterial life shayad mil jaye, because we have already discovered water on Mars. Frozen water, ice, we have discovered on Mars. So ice hai, so most probably there will be bacterial life as well. Intelligent life, we don't know. Intelligent life means like us, like animals, Bacterial life, you understand? Bacteria is not intelligent, right? So bacterial life, unicellular life, that may be discovered. You might hear that news very soon, that has been discovered. So at the time, people believed the earth was in the center, and the sun went around the earth, the moon went around the earth. However, by 1610, in Hindi we'll say 1610 aate. By 1610, Galileo's theory was that the earth was not in the center. He said, Bhai Saab, I don't believe the earth is in the center. You guys are wrong. The earth is not in the center. It is not in the center of our universe. Achha, universe, by the way. In that time, what was the idea of universe? Universe क्या जानते थे वो लोग इस समय, in the 16th century? क्या जानते थे universe के बारे में? Tell me, guys, please tell me. In the 16th century, what did people know about the universe? लोगों को क्या पता था? Universe क्या है? Universe है the earth, the sun, the moon,
sun, Jupiter,
and
moon.
the stars. बात खत्म. That is universe. They didn't know what? Milky Way. They didn't know. Solar system and this and that. The observable universe is so huge. We talk about so many different planets. Today we have found them. Did they know anything? Universe. So they believed that the earth was in the center. This was a small universe. Okay. They didn't know how large, how vast our universe was. उनको पता भी नहीं था. Galileo said that the sun was the center. He said, Bhai Saab, the earth is not in the center. the sun is in the center. Galileo said that the sun was the center and the earth moved around it. He said, hello, sir. The sun is not going around the earth. The earth is going around the sun. People said, are you crazy? Copernicus also said the same. Okay, this is interesting. Copernicus knew what Galileo knew. And he knew this before Galileo. But he was so smart, he didn't tell people. He wrote a book. Copernicus wrote a book. In that book, he mentioned that the earth is not the center. The sun is in the center and the earth is going around the sun. He said this, but he put a condition. Publish this book after I die. He said, publish this book after my death. Why? He knew the people would be after him because what he was saying was against people's opinion. And he knew the result of that, the consequences of that. So he said, publish this book after my death. Galileo defended his book as well. He said, yeah, Copernicus was right. It is true. He paid the price, poor chap. His last years. Some religious organizations weren't happy with Galileo's theories. Whenever new ideas are proposed, some people resist more, some people resist less. Depends on their mental state. You know, some people are more open-minded. They accept new things more easily. And some people resist a lot. Some religious organizations weren't happy. They said, no, not acceptable. They were not happy with Galileo's theories. His ideas were dangerous. They said, hey, this is, what is that called? क्या बोलते हैं उसको? अभी जो मैं कर रहा था, मजाक कर रहा था, अगर मैं पाकिस्तान में होता, अगर मैं किसी और कंट्री में होता, तो हो सकता है मुझ पे अभी केस लग जाता है. किस चीज का? Blasphemy. Have you heard the word? Blasphemy. Blasphemy means to insult God and religious, things. तो जब आप blasphemy करते हैं, तो आपको पनिश किया जा सकता है. तो इंडिया में नहीं चलता ये सब. इंडिया में आप ब्लास्फेमी कर सकते हैं, ठीक है. इंडिया में आपको राइट है कि आप जो माने, जैसे मैंने भी भगवान का मजाक उड़ाया था क्लास में, ठीक है. तो ये अगर मैंने किया किसी ऐसे देश में जहां ब्लास्फेमी का लॉ है, तो वहां पर मुझे जेल में डाल दिया जाएगा. जैसे पाकिस्तान, वहां ब्लास्फेमी लॉ है. अगर आपने कुछ बोला उलट पुलट, तो आपको डाल देंगे. अभी एक प्रोफेसर साहब को माफी मंगवाया है कैमरे पे, देखा होगा आप लोगों ने. तो they were unhappy with him. They said, you are being blasphemous. You are being blasphemous. आप हमारे भगवान के खिलाफ बोल रहे हैं. Because Bhagwan says, a Christian God here, in this context, लेकिन बात यही है सब जगह के लिए. मैंने बता दिया आपको, the earth was always in the center for everybody. Because naked eyes यही दिखाती है. किसी के दिमाग में ये बात नहीं थी कि earth is going around the sun. ये चीज दिखती नहीं आंखों से, माना भी नहीं जा सकता. आपको मैं कहूं साबित करो, आप साबित कर दोगे? उसने किया था. Galileo, when people challenged Galileo, he did that because he was a mathematician, a physicist. He had ideas. Okay, मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूं. You guys, what was the experiment he did? I think he threw something up. He was on a horse. Okay, he was on a horse and he threw something up, and then he received the same thing in his hands. तो लोगों से पूछा उसने, when I threw it up and the earth is static and my horse has moved there, then how come this fell in my hands? He was riding a horse, right? And he had a ball in his hands and he threw the ball up. He tossed the ball up and he kept riding the horse. The ball fell in his hands. He said, I covered the distance when my horse was moving. How did this come into my hand? I threw it up. So there were some experiments he did and he convinced some people that he was right. Again, some people, not all people. That's why his ideas were dangerous, because they were different from the ideas in the Bible. His ideas were different from the ideas in the Bible. Finally, in 1634, there was a trial. There was a trial. In 1634, there was a trial. Case in the court, trial. Galileo was 70 years old and not in good health, old man. So he wasn't sent to prison. They said, don't send this old man to prison. They did not send him to prison. But He couldn't leave his house in Florence. They said, stay in your house all the time. Your house is your jail. Your house is your jail. Stay inside. You cannot go out. If you don't go out, you cannot talk about your ideas. So they put him in house arrest. For how long? 8 years. It was there in Florence that he died in 1642. He was 78 years old and completely blind. Today, can anybody argue Galileo was wrong?
Sir, it was here that he died in
It was
1642.
in Florence. It was in his house in Florence that he died in 1642. It was here. यहीं उसकी मौत हो गई. यहीं उसकी मौत हो गई. यहीं, emphasizing यहीं. It was here. अच्छा, try and understand. He died here in 1642. Let me write these two sentences, everybody. Okay, because we don't have much time, so I'll do it tomorrow maybe. Let's understand. He died here in 1642. He died here in 1642. अब ये देखो. It was here that he died in 1642. Yahi, to put more emphasis on here, we brought this part. I will talk about this sentence maybe tomorrow if you guys want me to.
Okay,
It
sir.
was
Okay.
here that he died in 1642. Where? In his house in Florence. Do you think Galileo got justice?
No,
Do you think Galileo got justice, guys?
no.
He didn't get justice.
Galileo
He
didn't
shared the
get
truth. He
justice.
told us the truth. And for speaking the truth, he was punished. And now you have a lot of countries where you can say anything about the Bible, the Quran, the Vedas, the God, Allah, Bhagwan. किसी के बारे में कुछ भी बोलो, कुछ नहीं होगा. क्यों कुछ नहीं होगा? Because they realized that if they don't have this rule, there will be next Galileo. Because people don't know everything, guys. People don't know everything. Charles Darwin, when he said that the human beings have evolved from other animals, people said, are you crazy? What nonsense. God has made us in his name. In his, we look like God. We look like God. God looks like us. You're talking about we have come from animals? Nonsense. But thank God, he was in the 18th century, 19th century, 1800 something. That's why Darwin was not punished. If he had made this comment in the 16th, 17th century, he would have been punished too. So the world has moved to what we see today. आप कुछ बोल सकते हैं और जी सकते हैं बोलने के बाद because of sacrifices of people like Galileo. Okay, you are my students. I'm your teacher. Teaching means sharing knowledge, sharing information. I just wish one thing for you all: keep growing all your life. जिंदगी भर grow करते रहना. Don't become stagnant. अपनी जानकारी में stagnant मतलब अटक जाना एक जगह. Don't become stagnant. That's my best wish for you guys. Thank you. I'll see you all tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye.